realized I was always interested in space, talking about space. I couldn't stop talking about space. They bought me a telescope. And I used to go out with my telescope, and one of the greatest joys of my early life, and I still remember, was when I actually found the Andromeda Galaxy, that telescope in Cassiopeia. And I just stared at it. And it was just a little disc, because it was just a, not a professional telescope, but something you give a kid. But I found it. And I used to stare up there. And I used to, what I used to ask myself? I used to ask myself, I wonder who's staring back at me, wondering if I'm staring at them. And basically, what we see as light can be described as different wavelengths of energy. And that's the only thing that differentiates what your eyes see as red and what your eyes see as purple. But this is what happens when you actually meditate. You're actually activating that innate magnetic field inside your heart. That's why meditation works. You're actually tuning yourself to the magnetic fields of the universe, of the earth, and detected merkaba fields from space. An Air Force officer from the US Air Force Research Labs approached Drumvalo, and I can't pronounce his last name, I always trip up.
Melchizedek.
Yes, thank you. And they actually told him that we can see your merkaba fields from space. Our sensors can see them. Just think of your body as a container. You have a symbiotic relationship with a sentient being, which is your light being within you. And that light being wants to communicate with you, because light being has more connection with the higher consciousness. It itself is a higher consciousness, and it dwells within you. It's what religion calls a soul. In every religion, there's a soul. That soul is that field that's within you. And through meditative practices, then you can align yourself with it, and people get messages. And those with very developed electromagnetic fields, we call them channelers. That's how they can channel. It's a transmission line through higher consciousness. But this little sliver of light is basically a thinner than a human hair. There's more out there that we cannot see. And when you hear about raising one's frequency, what we really mean is, let's go up here beyond what we can see. What Sedona has, you know what Arizona has more than any other state? What is the nickname for Arizona? It's the copper state. All right, now think about a battery. Think about the Duracell copper top battery. Arizona has a lot of copper. The other thing Arizona has is a lot of an iron ore called magnetite. And the other thing Arizona has are a lot of underground reservoirs of water that is flowing under the ground. So when you get copper and magnetite together with that medium of water flowing under the ground, you're going to get little pockets of energy, of magnetic energy, which we call vortexes. And so happens Sedona has more than its fair share in the state of these vortexes coming from the earth. For me, and I have not revealed this before, but I'll reveal it to you. The message is that you have a message to share. You have knowledge to share, and we're waiting for you to share it. There will be a pathway. You will meet people. You will be participating in some way of being able to share these. And your purpose here, you need to make contact with an individual, because that individual is looking for you to make contact with them. You don't know who it is yet, but you will meet them and you will share with them something that they've been wondering about all their lives. And so that's my contact experience, because a lot of people get inklings of this and that and whatever. Some of them are conspiracy theories, some of them are really, really, really true. Mm-hmm. And so they're seeking validation. If anything, what disclosure by the government, official disclosure, will do is to validate what we already verified for ourselves. Mm-hmm. I don't need President Biden to stand up before a podium and tell me that they're extraterrestrials. I know that already. I don't need it, but some people do. Some people need that validation. That's fine. If that serves a purpose for validation, that's fine. And I always tell people, I don't need NASA and Elon Musk's SpaceX to go out into space. My spaceship is what you see right here before you. All of us have the ability to travel if you know how. If you, like I was saying before, if you tune your electromagnetic fields, if you take care of your body, watch what you eat and drink. I've met more people who were experiencers in CIA than anywhere else except for communities like this. Yeah. And there's actual CIA documents through technical remote viewing that was moderated or facilitated by someone you might know named Major Ed Dames. And the remote viewer was Mel Riley. And he saw this galactic headquarters and described it in great detail. We know these things. So I would say the CIA was just rich in that environment of discovering things that other people might take for granted or not even discuss. We shut down the remote viewing program because some very conservative politicians thought that we were playing with demonic forces. And they made a big stink about it, and they had the power of the purse, and they took all the money away. So what did we do? So all those remote viewers went to places like the Monroe Institute, the Universal Light Center in Black Mountain, North Carolina, the Farsight Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, to continue this remote viewing. And so I would say, you know, it was not unusual. I was not unusual at all. UAP task force and this report that's supposed to be coming out in the spring. We saw these orbs a long time ago when we finally turned on, we finally developed and turned on certain sensors in our spacecraft that were able to look into wavelengths of light that we previously could not see. And sure enough, we saw all of these orbs. And they were not like random orbs of nature. They were not like something induced by solar winds or solar magnetism. These were flying. They were together. They were intelligently controlled and flying together with a purpose. What is that? Are they Russian? Are they Chinese? They're not ours. That launched an entire study into these. I can close my eyes and see images develop in my inner mind or my inner heart. And I tell people, stop thinking with your mind and feeling with your heart. Do the opposite. Why don't you feel with your mind and think with your heart? Mm-hmm. And that's like flipping the poles a little bit. Just flip it.